the headlines of this hour on VTV News. Party chief calls for contributions by intellectuals and artists in the new era. Vietnam and Laos strengthen investment cooperation. In our world news, California governor declares wildfire state of emergency.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam, VTV News starts right now.
Good morning, it is 8 a.m. local time and you're watching VTV News Live. I'm Huyền Trần with the top stories. Party General Secretary Tô Lâm hosted a reception in Ho Chi Minh City on Thursday for former party and state leaders, veteran officials, and notable intellectuals, scientists, and artists from southern provinces and cities. More to follow.
Party General Secretary Tô Lâm acknowledged the contributions of former leaders, intellectuals, scientists, and artists to Vietnam's 2024 achievements. He emphasized that 2025 marks the start of a new era, with the priority being meeting the 2030 strategic goals for a modern, upper-middle-income nation. By 2045, Vietnam aims to be a developed, high-income country. The leader stressed the importance of political unity, public support, and scientific development, noting that Politburo Resolution 57 would help achieve these goals.
The government will develop an action program, the National Assembly will develop a plan to implement the resolution, and a national conference will be held. It's exciting to see the strong support from ministries, agencies, and intellectuals for the resolution.
The party general secretary hoped artists would contribute to the country's strategic goals, create meaningful works, uphold the values of truth, goodness, and beauty, and serve the people and the party's revolutionary cause.
The party will adopt a cultural and artistic development resolution and a national literature and arts strategy in the new era. The National Assembly, government, and relevant agencies will address legal, policy, and financial barriers, providing resources and space for artistic freedom while countering deviant ideologies.
The party leader called for continued support and contributions from former leaders, intellectuals, scientists, and artists who are sources of inspiration and strength for the country's development.
State President Lương Cường on January 9th visited and extended Lunar New Year greetings to the party organization, administration, people, and armed forces of Ba Tân Commune in Sinh Ho District of the northern mountainous province of Lai Châu, and presented gifts to local policy beneficiary families and poor households. The state leader expressed his joy at the efforts made by the local administration, soldiers, and people of Lai Châu to overcome difficulties and challenges, to complete and even exceed the set socio-economic development goals in 2024. State President Lương Cường applauded the provincial border guards for fulfilling their role as the core and dedicated force responsible for firmly managing and safeguarding the national territorial sovereignty and border security, as well as their contributions to ensuring a joyful and secure new year for residents in border areas. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính and Laotian Prime Minister Son Se Siphandone co-chaired the Vietnam-Laos Investment Cooperation Conference on Thursday afternoon in Vientiane, Laos. More in the following.
Speaking at the conference, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính noted that while the two countries share geographical advantages, economic, trade, and investment cooperation remains modest, with a trade turnover of just over $2.2 billion USD. He emphasized the need to convert opportunities and competitive advantages into tangible outcomes. The Prime Minister called for removing obstacles, establishing tailored mechanisms and policies, promoting infrastructure connectivity, and strengthening supply chain links. He also urged both sides to streamline procedures, improve the investment law, and ensure transparency for businesses. He affirmed that investing in Laos is also an investment in Vietnam and vice versa.
Investment between the two countries goes beyond business. It reflects trust, responsibility, and gratitude to past generations. I urge businesses to invest enthusiastically and share challenges openly so our governments can avoid wasting opportunities and time. This will further nurture the friendship between our two nations.
I urge Vietnamese and Lao enterprises to explore more cooperation, especially in industrial zones for processing Lao raw materials, drawing on Vietnam's experience with the Vietnam-Singapore Industrial Park. Laos also welcomes investment in clean and wind energy.
At the conference, the two prime ministers witnessed a ceremony granting investment certificates and memorandums of investment cooperation between their respective agencies and enterprises in mining and aviation.
And on Thursday afternoon, National Assembly Chair Trần Thanh Mẫn met with the Chinese and Cuban ambassadors, paying a courtesy visit at the start of their diplomatic tenure in Vietnam. During their conversations, the National Assembly Chair expressed confidence that over their terms, the cooperative relations between Vietnam and China and Vietnam and Cuba will continue to strengthen across all sectors. Through the Chinese ambassador, he extended an invitation to the chair of the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress of China, Xiao Liji, to make an official visit to Vietnam and co-chair the first session of the Cooperation Committee between the Vietnamese National Assembly and China's National People's Congress. In discussions with the Cuban ambassador, he highlighted that both countries had agreed to host the second Vietnam-Cuba Interparliamentary Cooperation Committee in Vietnam this year, marking the Vietnam-Cuba Friendship Year. Recently, the State Bank of Vietnam SBV projected a credit growth rate of around 16% for the entire system in 2025. This marks the second consecutive year that the SBV has set credit targets for commercial banks at the beginning of the year. This early planning approach enables commercial banks to allocate capital more effectively to their strongest sectors.
The State Bank of Vietnam states that the 16% credit growth target is flexible and can be adjusted based on economic conditions. This flexibility allows credit institutions to provide adequate and timely capital to the economy when additional credit capacity is required.
There is no need to formally apply for an increased credit limit. In 2024, the initial target for credit growth at the beginning of the year was 15%.
Setting the credit growth target at the start of the year enables commercial banks to better plan their operations, ensuring appropriate loan distribution and improved credit quality. For instance, this bank has focused its credit resources on retail, SMEs, and green credit.
This greatly helps banks in developing their business strategies, such as having a clear business direction in advance, allowing them to meet customer demands effectively. Typically, banks need to respond to customer needs and determine the credit room allocated for the next year. They will know which market segments to focus on. And secondly, they can optimize the credit room granted by the State Bank of Vietnam.
When banks proactively offer tailored incentive packages to specific sectors, it enhances businesses' ability to access capital. This mechanical enterprise expects its order volume to increase by 15% this year, so they plan to borrow an additional $197,000 USD to invest in machinery.
It is expected that in 2025, we will invest in factories to support production expansion.
In addition, experts note that the 2025 credit growth target aligns with the Prime Minister's GDP growth target of over 8%.
As these growth drivers return, they will also lead to higher demand for capital flow, which will likely result in more positive credit growth in 2025. Therefore, we are optimistic that we can achieve the 16% credit growth target set by the State Bank of Vietnam.
Moreover, the sustained low interest rates serve as a key factor supporting and stimulating capital demand throughout the economy.
And within days of 2025 arriving, several banks raised their interest rates. Most notably, several banks have increased short-term deposit rates for terms under 6 months, with rates now ranging from 7% to 9.5%. However, to access these higher rates, customers must meet certain conditions, such as maintaining a balance above the bank's minimum deposit requirements. For longer-term deposits, interest rates above 6% per year are now being offered by many banks, with no minimum deposit conditions. Coming up next on VTV News. Vietnam's digital transformation leaps into future. And ships delivered New Year gifts to Navy stationed on remote islands. You're watching VTV News Live. Entering 2025, Vietnam is gearing up for economic development by achieving important digital transformation goals. According to Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính, digital transformation is vital to keeping pace with developed nations and is also a top priority for Vietnam's rapid and sustainable development. Therefore, Resolution 57 prioritizes unlocking the potential of data and putting data science to work in building a big data system as the foundation of the country's digital transformation.
As more localities connect to the National Population Database, an increasing number of citizens can now register births, permanent residence, and health insurance in only 30 minutes.
Now, everything can be done at the local People's Committee, which I find more convenient and time-saving.
The National Population Database gathers basic information about all Vietnamese citizens. Therefore, the system will underpin the Vietnamese government's ability to accelerate digital transformation with innovative governance.
VNeID allows the integration of all citizens' personal documents on a digital platform. People can use this app to access online public services.
Vietnam is aiming to build a data center to facilitate digital data storage. Data transformation is a critical process that refines and converts raw data into a usable format. Therefore, the government has prioritized the development of digital technologies such as the Internet of Things and artificial intelligence.
The Vietnamese government should develop a plan for national data development, including data processing, storage, and utilization.
Resolution 57 prioritizes the development of digital data interconnection and data sharing and the establishment of an international data exchange system. As data sovereignty is crucial for national security, Vietnam should build a sustainable cybersecurity industry.
Vietnam plans to develop a data economy, including a data marketplace and exchange platforms. In addition to building data storage centers and strengthening its cybersecurity, Vietnam has implemented strategies to develop AI based on big data to facilitate digital transformation in key industries.
And as Tet draws near, ships delivering New Year gifts to Navy personnel stationed in remote islands have completed their delivery trips. Despite unfavorable weather conditions, Naval Region 3's officers and soldiers navigated the rough seas to ensure the safe and timely transportation of food and necessities during the long-distance voyages.
Gift boxes of zong leaves, sticky rice, pork, ducks, chickens, fruit and vegetables were prepared by the families and relatives of naval personnel serving offshore. Goods and necessities transported by trucks had to be gathered at Naval Region 3 military port before they were shipped out to soldiers and residents on remote islands.
Truck drivers must work very hard to ensure that the goods and necessities are delivered to naval soldiers and islanders on time. They need food for Tet celebrations.
Transporting the Tet essentials has been difficult due to the big waves and heavy swell caused by the adverse weather. Despite that, Naval Region 3 has gone all out to deliver New Year gifts to the remote islands. These are packages convey love, best wishes and encouragement to help naval soldiers overcome their homesickness.
As we vow to protect the sovereignty of our fatherland, we are ready to fulfill our missions, contributing to bringing love from the mainland to officers, soldiers, and residents on remote islands.
For naval soldiers performing duties on these remote islands, there is little more precious than New Year gifts that carry the flavor of Tet and convey love from the mainland.
To promote social welfare and care for patients in difficult circumstances, Thanh Hóa Provincial General Hospital has partnered with benefactors and charitable clubs to organize the Spring Market 2025 program. More to follow.
Thanh Hóa General Hospital is hosting a spring market for patients in difficult circumstances. At this market, each patient is given a voucher that allows them to shop for free. They can procure items such as sweets, fish sauce, rice, or nutritional supplements. These gifts are aimed at providing spiritual support and encouraging patients to overcome their illnesses.
The gifts bring spiritual encouragement. Whether I'm in the hospital or have been discharged, it remains a Tet gift. I'm very grateful to the charitable organizations for helping the patients.
We hope these gifts will provide meaningful support to everyone during their treatment process, bringing them joy, especially during this Tet holiday.
This year, the number of gifts for patients at Thanh Hóa General Hospital has doubled, exceeding 1,600 packages, along with 1,400 warm coats lovingly donated by the hospital's labor union and youth union. Additionally, special musical performances filled the hospital with a festive atmosphere of spring, helping lift patients' spirits.
We will try to connect with sponsors to organize more programs, not just the Zero Dong Market, but also various activities throughout the week, month, and year to provide both material and emotional support for patients in need.
Looking ahead, Thanh Hóa General Hospital will continue organizing charitable programs to bring warmth to patients facing hardships during that holiday. These initiatives aim to inspire patients as they cope with illnesses and life's challenges, especially during the festive spring season.
Vietnam's determination to promote gender equality and address gender-based violence was reaffirmed with the opening of another one-stop service center, Anh Dương House, in the northern province of Hòa Bình on Friday morning. Jointly supported by the Ministry of Labor, Invalids and Social Affairs, the United Nations Population Fund in Vietnam, the Provincial People's Committee, and other international organizations. Anh Dương House provides essential, comprehensive, and integrated services to women and girls who experience or are at risk of gender-based or domestic violence. As with all one-stop service centers, Anh Dương House is accessible to those with disabilities and will assist local ethnic communities. The 2024 Mai Vàng or Golden Apricot Blossom Award ceremony, honoring artists in media such as television programs and serials, stage, cinema, and music, was held at the Ho Chi Minh City Opera House on Wednesday. Organized by the Người Lao Động Laborer newspaper, the 30th Golden Apricot Blossom Awards gathered more than 100 artists and honoring several notable winners.
In the 10 categories, the award of Most Favorite Song went to Thuận Nước Đẩy Thuyền, performed by S.T. Sơn Thạch on the TV show Anh Trai Vượt Ngàn Chông Gai or Call Me by Fire. Anh Tuấn was named Most Favorite MC, while People's Artist Tự Long won Most Favorite Comedy Actor.
Being here, I can truly feel the audience's love for all of artists.
The most favorite actor and actress award went to Jun Phạm and Thuy Nguyen for their roles in If You Don't Get Married After 7 Years, You Will Break Up.
It was a surprise. I never expected to win, especially with so many great movies and TV shows. I didn't think both of us would win.
This award reflects the audience's love for artists. I'm very happy and consider it a gift for the crew. Thank you all for your support.
Anh trai vượt ngàn chông gai or Call Me By Fire and Anh trai Say Hi share the most favorite TV program title. Trang Pháp was named most favorite female singer, while Subin Hoàng Sơn, whose MV Zanyu won most favorite MV, was named most favorite male singer and rapper.
I'm thrilled and grateful to win 2 awards. Seeing my colleagues honored today, I'm happy to witness the growing attention and love from the audience for our work, including mine.
The Golden Apricot Platinum Awards recognize artists who made outstanding contributions to the nation's culture and arts. Started in 1995, it has become popular and prestigious as an annual event.
This weekend, more than 3,000 Vietnam Trail Marathon athletes from 42 countries will compete on the beautiful trails of Mộc Châu, Sơn La. The athletes will contest 3 distant races, 70, 42, and 21 kilometers. The finish line for all routes is the heart-shaped T-hill in Mộc Châu Farm. The selected routes are among the most popular in Mộc Châu, all boasting beautiful natural scenery. Coming up next in our world news. California governor declares wildfire state of emergency. And more than 1,200 aftershocks detected after powerful earthquake in Xinjiang. Now moving on to our world news. California Governor Gavin Newsom on Thursday declared a state of emergency for the Pacific Palisades after a massive wildfire erupted on Tuesday. The fire quickly escalated, putting over 2,900 acres and forcing tens of thousands to evacuate. At least 5 people died as several wind-driven fires across Los Angeles County blazed out of control. The wildfires have also left more than 400,000 homes and businesses without electricity. More than 150,000 people were ordered to evacuate. The California governor has mobilized over 7,500 firefighting and emergency personnel to protect communities. U.S. President Joe Biden also ordered federal assistance to respond to the fires in the areas impacted. Local authorities said a 6.8 magnitude earthquake struck southwest China's Xinjiang Autonomous Region on Tuesday, followed by 1,211 aftershocks as of 3 p.m. on Thursday. According to the Regional Earthquake Bureau, the largest aftershock had a magnitude of 4.4 and occurred about 18 kilometers from the epicenter of the 6.8 magnitude earthquake. The Bureau also noted that 33 of the aftershocks had a magnitude of over 3. The powerful earthquake killed at least 126 people, injured 188 others, and damaged thousands of houses. Local authorities said search and rescue operations had been completed, adding that they were planning to relocate affected people. Sugary drinks are responsible for more than 2.2 million new cases of diabetes and 1.1 million new cases of heart disease a year around the world, according to a new study. The study estimates 340,000 annual deaths from type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease linked to sugary drinks worldwide. In Latin America and the Caribbean, sugary drinks contributed to nearly 24% of new type 2 diabetes cases in 2020. In sub-Saharan Africa, the region that has seen the greatest percentage increase in cases from 1990 to 2020, sugary drinks led to more than 21% new diabetes cases and more than 11% new cases of heart disease. Colombia, Mexico, and South Africa have been particularly hard hit. Sugary drinks are rapidly digested, causing a spike in blood sugar levels with little nutritional value. And drinking them regularly over time leads to weight gain, insulin resistance, and a host of metabolic issues tied to type 2 diabetes and heart disease. Tourists are heading to Finnish Lapland in the hopes of seeing the famous Northern Lights. The sun is at the maximum phase of its 11-year cycle. This means that solar surges or aurora borealis are a more frequent sighting on a clear night.
Driving through the darkness, photographer Joona Forsgren is on a hunt for the aurora borealis.
So we are going to the north side of Rovaniemi, about half an hour drive to a very private place where there are no lights, no street lights, nothing, it's totally dark.
Veering onto a darkened Finnish Lapland road, Forsgren guides a group of tourists to a frozen lakeside spot. And they're in luck. A wave of green-colored northern lights dances across the star-studded night sky.
It's stunning. I mean, it's something you have to see in your life. It's beautiful. You don't want to leave. You want to just see more and more.
The sun's outer atmosphere occasionally burps out huge bursts of energy called coronal mass ejections. They produce solar storms, also known as geomagnetic storms. The Earth's magnetic field shields us from much of it, but particles can travel down magnetic field lines along the north and south poles and into Earth's atmosphere. When the particles interact with gases in our atmosphere, they can produce light blue and purple from nitrogen, green and red from oxygen.
The northern lights are more common in these high latitude regions, and especially in the Lapland region here in Finland, we get the northern lights almost every night.
The captivating show can be visible from late August until early April when the nights are too bright to glimpse the auroras. Those odds tempt thousands of tourists northwards every winter to Rovaniemi, the capital of Finnish Lapland.
And as usual, let's move on to the weather forecast. And that's all the news we have for this hour. To rewatch our program, you can download our mobile app VTVgo or check out our YouTube channel, VTV4Go. Thank you for watching and see you next time.